Hello and welcome to the NARAS Weekly Podcast. I am your host, Generally08, joined with my co-host, Slowbro, and the Season 31 Daytona 500 champion. Slowbro, how does that feel knowing that you went down in NARAS history as a Daytona 500 champion?
Well, to drive for my own team, I put that trophy in my office, as people on the video can see. But I know you're currently down in Atlanta, and you haven't seen how I've renovated the office recently. But I know you're testing out some of the stuff. But winning Daytona was definitely big for me, especially after last year wrecking on the last lap and the last lap of Stage 2. I did not have a good Daytona last year.
Yeah, we all remember that last lap wreck between you and Max going down the backstretch, and he just flat out dumps you coming off of turn 2, and he goes on to finish second, and you finish dead last. So kind of sum up in your own words what it feels like to have that redemption of finishing last season and then coming back this season, driving for your own team, and winning one of the biggest races of the season besides the championship.
I think another thing that's really big, I started on the pole and finished last. In this Daytona, I started last and finished first because I had missed qualifying due to, in real life, issues. So I came back from the back of the pack and ended up winning it, which is the exact opposite of last year. So that was probably more redemption than just finishing.
And you led quite a few laps, so kind of take us back through the entire race. From the start to the end of stage 1, stage 2, and the finish of the race. We all saw how the beginning of the clash went with that massive wreck, but we didn't really have that many wrecks in the 500. So just walk us through the entire race, if you can.
So basically, early on, in the first lap, pushed up to, I believe, 5th from I started about 13th or 14th, I believe.
Yeah, you started deep in the field.
But by turn 3, I want to say in 6th or 7th, and then by the end of turn 4, I was in 5th. And I remember passing the line, I connected with Nissan, and I almost turned him in turn 1, just like he had turned me in turn 1 of the second lap in season 30. But, that was kind of the first sign that this time I'm the one controlling it. And, same thing happened with me and Max. I caught him on lap 15, 16, just like he did to me. And, yeah. We finished pretty solid in the stages, especially with there not being too many wrecks. So we got some good stage points, I want to say. We got, obviously, some good finish points, and we won. So we're the first car locked into the playoffs. And hopefully, I want to get maybe 5 wins. I want to get a good amount of wins going into the playoffs to try and cushion myself once we bring playoff points into the mix. I'm not sure about a regular season champion, as this year is still pretty much my first full-time year, because in season 30 I only ran Daytona and Nashville. So with my first full-time year, having a win in my first race, that's big. And obviously owning my own team with you is also pretty big for my career.
Yeah, and walk us through those last 2 laps. You're in the lead, and Max is doing everything he can to shove you out of the way, and he actually gets penalized, but avoids the black flag and just keeps going. And we all know what happened to Max, but we're not gonna go down that route. But just walk us through that last lap, what it felt like to be leading on the final lap, knowing that you could win the biggest race of your NARAS career.
Well, let's just say
first, not not to say your first NARAS win.
Yeah, but the weirdest thing is I have a really bad habit of leading on the second to last lap and getting passed. So I was very worried, especially with Max and Josh and everyone behind me. But I started getting risky with blocks. I was pretty much just keeping my bumper to the front of the 19 and holding the bottom of the track, trying not to get bumper locked up. I'd let off, and then I'd let him push me ahead. That way, into the turn, he would just hit me forward, and it wouldn't bumper lock me up. That's just something I learned from other races. But that's how I kept the lead and kept from going up the track and losing it on, the last 2 laps. But I remember Max and Josh were fighting, and Max went under Josh under the line and didn't let off after, policing everyone. And I know everyone was mad about that. And then Max just got mad that he lost. Obviously,
Yeah, a lot of people were getting mad that he was kind of being the penalty police. I should say.
yeah. But like, talk about bias. That man tried to pin like everyone except himself. But I mean, he doesn't have a trophy in his office of the season 31 500. So I don't know if he can talk. So yeah.
Well, moving on to our first topic of the evening. NARAS is announcing that they are doing a special event hosting Battle of the YouTube channels at Bristol Motor Speedway. Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. And you have a special paint scheme that you're going to be running at that race.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be not running my own scheme. I'm gonna be running your scheme for Fisher Studios, and obviously I'm not as worried about my channel as I am about just racing. So when you talked to me about maybe sponsoring your car, I was like, well, I got a sponsor now other than myself, so that's definitely a plus. But I think loading may also go that route. So if there ends up being a sponsor overlap, I can change whatever I need. But Atlanta, it's just a sneak peek of maybe what we'll do for Bristol.
Yes, and actually, that car is debuting at Atlanta, but it's going to be running again at Bristol, so we'll get a sneak peek of that at Atlanta. Bristol is a track that we ran last season. I want to say, ran 200 laps, and we did it under 2 hours somehow. Are you mentally prepared for Bristol?
Mentally, maybe not physically. We'll see. I think it really depends on who's there and how my team does, and how I can drive. If I'm not doing too hot at Bristol, obviously that's not going to be the best mentally. If I'm doing really good, at some point that could wear off and I can start falling back. But hopefully we can stay up front as much as possible and lead some laps and get our team a win at least, if not myself.
Yes, and before we move on to our next topic, I want to go back to Daytona and talk about the D2 race. I know now you weren't there,
I was watching,
but yeah,
yes, I had
you
it on
were.
my TV.
Yeah, you weren't there, but you were watching. We actually own a team, L&L Motorsports, and it was bad fast that weekend at Daytona, and uh, we actually hired a driver, and he drives the number 7 currently. And I just want you to put in your own words what you think of that driver in the number 7
Well,
car who won the Daytona race.
I originally had brought in BMX to run for Stays Run in season 31 before the L&L merger and the fallout of the team that should not be named. But I had brought in BMX to run one of my cars in D1. It's going to be me and him. And I had started a D2 program. I want to say Zion was in there.
I think he was in there, and then we moved him over to our 7.
Yeah, and when we merged, we moved him to the 7, and nowadays BMX is a 25, which is a number that I hold close, just like Jen holds the 24. We both kind of have our own numbers. But we put Zion in the 7, and he did really good, and we had him running part-time at the 500 for D1. But Zion was very good in the D2 race. I'm not 100% sure how he did in the 500 as I was busy worrying about myself. But he was in the 5 car for that race, and we recently hired him to D1, and Atlanta's really his first test with our first braking track on the schedule without
It
draft.
is.
So
It is.
we'll see how he does.
He actually was. He was kind of mired in the back during the 500. He was just kind of, clocking laps in and just learning how the D1 cars drive. And they were. He said that they were actually very, very similar to the D2 race, but because it wasn't his points race to win, he just kind of let you guys fight it out. But yeah, he did phenomenal that race, and that caught my attention, and that kind of wanted me to move him up to D1, replacing.
Ender.
Unfortunately, huh?
We replaced Ender off of scheduling issues.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we did lose a driver again in 24, but we were able to replace him and
not for real
do
this
what?
time though. It wasn't. It was just due to Discord reasons this time.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know about the first one.
I'm not sure about that one. So moving on to our next topic, rumors have surfaced. The current Cup field limit is set at 16 drivers, 16 full-time drivers. That's not counting the part-time drivers. So if 16 show up, that's cool, and then part-time drivers can just fill the field. But with that being said, there's only 12 playoff spots available, so that just leaves 4 spots that people are going home without a championship with. And apparently now the Cup field limit is going to be extended to 25 cars. I guess this is because NARAS just had a recent big spike in the last month or so, and they're looking to maybe get more cars on the track to, have more people go for a championship. I don't know. Nothing else was said about that. Just NARAS tweeted on Twitter that rumors have surfaced that NARAS could be extended the Cup field limit to 25. How you've raced in this series for 2 seasons already, but this is your first full-time season. How do you feel about the Cup field limit being extended?
I think it can be both a good and bad thing. It's good because it gives you more of a risk to work towards your your own championship, and it gives you your own, it makes it harder. You have to earn it more than a 16 car field, because in usually you'd start with 16 champ cars. Well, in NARAS we start with 12 because 16 is the limit, and not everyone can make the championship. But extending this, it'll make it harder. Instead of 16 fighting for 12 spots, it'll essentially be 24. That's just a round number. Basically, half the drivers will make it, and that makes it more of a challenge to get in, which means it's bigger for your career if you can make it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And actually, because the Cup field limit is getting extended, that means that the playoff field is going to be getting extended. Now, I've been hearing that it's going to be extended from 12 to 14.
I don't know what to say about that. I guess we'd have to see that in action, if anything. 14 14 leaves more opportunities than 12, obviously. But I think it really just depends on how we handle our next moves with NARAS, how the playoffs work. As a driver, I'm not sure what to think. As a co-owner, I think it's just something that we need to look into to maybe change it up a little bit, but obviously it may or may not happen.
Right. There's no set stone yet on that extended playoff field, but hopefully we can hear something about that in the coming days or weeks. The All-Star race is going to be making a return. We haven't seen the All-Star in, I want to say, 5 seasons, and the All-Star is big. it puts all of the winning drivers together in one race, battling it out for bragging rights. But this season's changing. It's not just for bragging rights anymore. You guys get to fight for real money this time, and I think that's going to be a big game changer this season. And again, as a driver, I just want to hear what you have to say about that. Having a meaning behind the win now.
Yeah, I was gonna say currently as the only driver locked into the the All-Star race, it's pretty big. I'm not sure how qualifying for the All-Star race works. I'm not 100% caught up on the rules, which is not the best look as a co-owner. But over time, All-Star will change. But the idea of it stays the same. I like the idea of an actual payout, kind of like the real All-Star. But
Well, I do have to correct you on something. You and Nissan are locked in because he is a winner from last season.
My bad. I'm the first racer of this season.
This season, yes.
Locked in as of this season.
But yeah, you and Nissan are locked into this season's All-Star. But yeah, you guys get to go for real money, and the payout is huge for a Roblox. They're saying it could be upwards of $200 to $300 that you guys could win, and that could be
that can be
PayPal,
really big for someone.
Yeah,
they could put the end of their
car. Yeah, that could. Yeah.
But
and sorry, go ahead.
But I think the thing about All-Star is you're gonna have some of the best drivers there. Obviously it's the All-Star, but whoever wins there is pretty much going to have a leg up on everyone because they're going to have the ability to increase the ability of their car. They can maybe, put themselves higher in the, hierarchy of equipment. L&L is one of the highest equipment options you can have.
We are a Chevy powerhouse.
Yes, and C2M is also on the higher end of equipment, and there's other teams that aren't as high on equipment. They are not as powerful, but they could win this All-Star race and maybe become more powerful than people have thought, and that can be big for a team or a driver. It really just depends on how they do in the All-Star race.
And to kind of put it in perspective, this is a very first for NARAS. We have never done payouts for the race winner, and it's if someone, as we said earlier, wins this All-Star race, and it's not just for the All-Star race; it's for big races throughout this entire season that are going to have payouts.
Yeah, and
Atlanta is going to be the first test. It's going to have its first payout.
Yeah, I don't believe we are 100% sure on what the payout is yet. All we know is that it'll be our first test with it for Season 31. And depending on how these payouts work, it can change or, we could get rid of it, we could increase it. It really just depends on how these payouts work. And it could be good for, a lot of people, but at the same time, when it's up for grabs and money, people seem to get a lot more serious about it, which could bring in some more serious drivers.
It could, and it could change the outcome of every single race, every weekend.
Yeah, people might be digging harder to get that money.
Yeah, they could be, and it's kind of what I wanted to touch on is that I heard that the only reason why this was introduced is to intensify the racing. It's to make people want to go for the wins instead of backing off and just saying, oh yeah, this is just another game. No, this was brought in for this exact reason.
Yeah, and as you said, you could see an influx in drivers. The goofier drivers can drop down, maybe not even get a license, since we are also introducing tryouts for Season 32.
Yes, I was going to touch on that next.
And with that, you could have a higher intensity in both D1 and D2, and possibly D3 if we ever get to that point.
Yeah, And as you said earlier, we're introducing tryouts next season, and we've never done tryouts in NARAS. In all of 8 years of doing NARAS, we have never done tryouts, nor have we done divisional licenses.
And this is because we've never had an influx in drivers as we've had recently. Ever since we kind of went on to media and started picking up more people, we
mm-hmm.
were originally just a one division league until, season 31. So I remember in season 30, I was originally going to drive for Lee Motorsports and the number one
car,
D2 Chevy, and D2 got removed for season 30, and we weren't ever sure if it was gonna get back. I was lucky enough to get a ride with Zombie Motorsports, and I ended up running the two, for those 2 races I ran. So that was kind of just a way to get recognized, and that's kind of how I've shown up recently with NARAS is
and yeah,
getting through those lower tiers to try and work your way up,
which we have now. We have the ladder system that everyone talks about in the real life Cup series, and well, real life NARAS or NASCAR. I mean,
I'll take
they
real life
have
NARAS.
the
I'm not against that.
yeah, we have the we have we have the ladder system just like NASCAR does. You start low and then you got to work your way up to the big leagues, and it's whenever you hit the Cup Series and know that you can make it, it's a game changer for anyone's career in road racing, because you know that you've made it to the big leagues. Now it's just a matter of, can you do it in the big leagues?
And that's something big that Zion must be telling himself. He's the first driver to get promoted from D2 to D1 off of one race alone. He's
Yeah, yeah,
the only driver this entire season that's going to be doing that, and that's history for him and L&L Motorsports.
it is. And he made NARAS history by becoming the first ever D2 driver to win a D2 race, because NARAS has never done D2 until now,
And the
and
first
he
driver
made
to win
history
both
himself.
D2 and D1 poles.
Yes, yes, he went out, swept the poles, won the D2 race, and I believe he finished 6th in the 500.
I'm not 100% sure where he finished, but I knew he was ahead of some people. I know a few times he was in the running for first, but he kind of backed off to let
Yes,
his teammates go by.
which that just shows how much respect he has for his teammates, and I love that about him. He has that on track respect that a driver should have. Whether this is a game or not. Some people take it seriously, and some people just still treat it like a game. But at the end of the day, we're all just there to have fun and just race. But it's still got that serious, aspect of it. Like, oh man, I gotta treat this like it's real life because I'm going for a win.
Yeah, in the end, you're still racing for, pride. In my case, sometimes I'm racing for content. Gotta get that
Mm-hmm.
money. But everyone has their different reasons for racing. Um, just in general. And certain people have better reasons than others. I think that's pretty obvious. That's never really changed. But, you know, people will change. That's always, been its own thing. And, it happens. And we'll see that
Yeah.
happen throughout seasons.
And that's just like me. I'm a former driver myself. I raced for 7 years, and I loved every bit of it. Every loss, every win, every crash, whatever. I loved every bit of it. Because, like you said, I looked at it as my pastime, a way to get away from the real world drama, and it honestly helped at some points. But there was those low times where I'm just like, why do I got to keep doing this? I don't want to do this anymore. Sorry, that was a That was a nasty burp. um, but there was times where I felt like, why do I keep doing this? Um, I've got so much more stuff that I can do with my life than just sit on a video game. But at the same time, like I said earlier, it was just my pastime to get away from all of the real world drama. And that, I think, is the part that I love more about road racing than it was winning. Like, yeah, the wins were sweet because, damn, I've got a good record on my resume. But still, it was the look at it of, hey, I can do this just to get away for a couple of hours is the part I loved the most about racing.
You know, it's something I do as well. Like, there are times where I don't know what to do. Like, I'll just be in my room, not having anything to do. There are weekends where I'm waiting to race, just sitting here on some random simulator, that I'll never play again, just waiting for, a NARAS race, waiting for a Dietz and Watson race, waiting for an HCR race. My weekends pretty much I look forward to these races because you can get away for that hour and a half, 2 hours.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
winning is also pretty fun. I take those too. Um but it's a good balance is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I know that we kind of got off topic there and we got to get through some more topics real quick.
Yeah. Speed
um
run.
yeah. Uh Dodge has not been in NARAS since season 22. And in season 32, 10 years later, it's going to be making its return.
And
Two teams have already been confirmed, which is Depp Brothers Racing and our own team, LNI Motorsports.
And me and Jen talked about this when we were bringing in Dodge. We wanted to just see how these new bodies would work with our team. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, Jen hasn't had the best luck with Dodge bodies, if you care to explain.
Well, in season 21, we made the switch from Chevrolet to Dodge. And we finished second, fifth, eighth, and 11th at Daytona in the 500. And honestly, we were proud of 3 cars in the top 10, but there was something missing. So we went to the next couple of races, and we just absolutely did poor on our performance. And I know that Roblox physics has nothing to do with it. I think it's just bad luck with the Dodge bodies. Um, I don't know why it is with what it is with me and Dodge, but we just have not meshed well. No pun intended at all. We just have not collided. Damn it, there's another pun. We haven't worked well with Dodge bodies,
There we
and I don't
go.
know why that is. We just haven't worked well with Dodge bodies, and I don't know why that is. But I was talking with you a couple of weeks ago, whenever this came out, and we decided that we were going to make the switch back to Dodge and give it another shot because the bodies have changed since then. If you want to get into the role play aspect of it, the aerodynamics of the bodies have changed. We've already done some wind tunnel tests, and they look as smooth as a baby's bottom. Those cars are clean, and I feel more confident moving to Dodge than I did 11 seasons ago.
Yeah, I think the main reason that I personally wanted to switch in the merger was I've never run a Dodge team or anyone other than I've always run Toyota. And, running Dodge was kind of just something new I could do, and I saw my opportunity and I took it. And I talked
Mm-hmm.
to Jen, and we were like, with this new body, we can, try to do something different. And, we just went with it. And, well, that's our season 32 plan. Is just see how we do
Yeah,
with these Dodge, and, off that,
and
try and finish.
late breaking news. I want to talk to you about something here. Open. This is
Oh,
a driver contract. This is owner to co-owner,
huh? Oh,
owner
I'm
to
interested.
driver. Uh, this is breaking news. I want to talk to you about. I know that you and the 25 have history together, and I want to see if you want to maybe run the 25 next season in the Cup.
In Cup. So you're saying, well, I feel like the next question would be, what are we replacing with the 25 in Cup?
Probably the 88.
Okay, that makes sense. I would run it, but if BMX does well this season and he wants to stay in the 25, I think it really just depends on what BMX feels as the current 25 driver in D2.
Yeah,
I don't want to take his number away if he's decided that, he wants to stick with it. So,
right. And obviously, owners have satellite teams.
yes.
Owners always have had satellite teams. So there's no doubt in my mind that he can run a satellite team with 25. And I am not against that at all. Because right now we are thin on the Chevrolet camp this season.
Oh, you want to talk about thin? We got to hold 2 Fords.
Yeah, well, 3 now.
We got to hold 3 Fords.
Well, we have 3 Fords. I want to say 5 Chevrolets.
Do we really only have 5?
And 5 or 6. Last season we were heavy on Chevrolet.
Yeah, because he had.
But 5.
Yeah.
5 or 6 Chevrolets and 9 Toyotas.
Yeah.
8 or 9 Toyotas. And I don't know where this big jump to Toyota went. I want to say it came with Cole the Bow Motors. That is a tongue twister, especially with my.
I just say CTB.
Yeah, that it sounds like something different. I can't say it on air. It sounds like something different, and I know you're thinking of what I'm thinking.
Oh no.
I think I know
what you're saying.
It sounds.
It does.
The acronym for CTV sounds like that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just hop off that topic. Anyway, what was our next topic? I forgot. I forgot. Oh, road courses in season 32.
Yes. We have not. NARAS has not seen a road course in over 7 seasons. I did a little bit of track testing over in New York at Watkins Glen. The testing was semi-successful. NARAS just does not have a set setup yet for that car, and they plan on doing some more testing later on this week over at Watkins Glen before the drivers have to go back to Atlanta for the race. But yeah, we're going to be bringing road course racing back.
Road coursing.
Right now, road coursing, Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. The Roadhouse. Something. You're welcome. That's your name.
I don't remember that meme. All I know is that I heard that from TNT Man 93.
All I know is that YouTube. we need a short track that we can call the Send It 600.
The Send It, so that might be Martinsville this season.
Yes, because we
have Martinsville on the schedule twice this season. It's a regular season race and then it's a playoff cutoff.
Now, very important question. Martinsville setups. I know you were tinkering with them a little bit. Will Martinsville have draft or will it be full send? Because I know that's the test setups were both full send and draft.
Well, that was okay. So we did a fun race out at Martinsville, and it was a test in its own.
It was mayhem.
Yeah, it was mayhem because after lap 5, we just all started just goofing off.
Yes.
Yeah. It was Maxim.
Is that just what we're calling mayhem now? Maxim?
Yeah. It's the mayhem of NARAS.
All right, we got it. Maxim. I need to make a brand for that and sponsor my car.
I will fully allow that.
I don't announce that.
So it was a test in its own. Now, the setups that you guys were running were not final setups. I do plan on improving those setups on the cars. Now, the next question, or the next answer to your question, no, the cars will not have draft. The same at Bristol, because short tracks just should not have draft in the cars. It just makes the racing a whole lot worse. The saying that they say in NASCAR, cautions bring cautions, and I feel like if I do more tinkering to these cars and keep the draft in, it's just going to be like that same scenario. that you would see at a super speedway. They would go one lap and then a caution would come out, and we don't need that because of the time frame that we run now. We run early races, but we also race on a Sunday night, and most people have school that next morning, and we just simply can't have.
Yours truly.
Yeah, we just simply. Oh yeah, I forgot that it's Monday night and you have school tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we just simply can't have these long races like that, bringing cautions.
Which is also why we implemented the quick cautions, where if you're going FK, you need to get off the track and not stay on.
Yes, and we saw a little bit of that in the 500, but it wasn't very successful because people just were not following that rule. So I think NARAS officials are going to be revamping the penalties on that rule for people who don't follow it.
And I'll be speaking with the officials after the podcast, so.
Yes, yeah. So moving on, as we announced at the top of the show, I am down at Atlanta doing track testing for this weekend's race. You were supposed to be here, but you kind of missed the plane on that ride.
Yeah, I woke up late.
I'm very disappointed. I'm very. I had to
drive back north to take a plane south. I don't know what that was all about. The plane company kind of scammed me out of that one. Drove me all the way to New York just to go back down to Georgia. Yeah, missed that flight. It's not even like it was a different time zone. Now I'm just sitting in the office, laughing at you. You're laughing at me. I don't know why I said I'm laughing at you.
Oh my god. Okay. Off the record, we cannot cut this part out of the show.
Oh no, I know. I'm not editing this at all.
Okay.
No, this stays in. This is your NARAS co-owners, guys. We joke around half the time.
All right. So I'm still down here at Atlanta. Because we have a D2 test tomorrow. Shut up. Because we have a D2 test tomorrow. We're gonna be testing the same thing that we did today in the Cup test. But again, as a driver analyst, what did the cars feel like down there at Atlanta? I know that there were some problems with the track. I think the track crew is going to look into that. But besides that, how were the cars down there?
Well, I know I had Zion in my car because obviously I missed the Atlanta ride because they made me go to New York to take a plane back down. But I had Zion driving my car today, even though he should be in 24. His car isn't there yet. So I had him driving laps in my car, and he said it was pretty good. And, he has his own issues. He's, a slower learner than I would hope. Then again, that might just be my car. I got my own little touches on it, which is why I'm an idiot. So, but, he said the cars were good. He's still learning it.
Says the one who had the slowest lap time.
I know. Yeah, I'm playing into the part where I'm in New York in shop because I missed the plane ride, stupid. You not get how plot holes work. I'm playing into the part where I missed the flight.
But you drove down here.
Oh yeah, I did.
You fucking drove down here.
All right, you know what? I'm leaving that in. Oh, we gotta finish this quick because this is gonna take 3 hours to upload.
We're already 45 minutes into it.
39 and 30
seconds. Wow, that's not as bad as I thought it was. I thought that we were almost 45
minutes. On you, we're an hour and a half in. No, I'm kidding. Just like my plane ride to Atlanta that I totally made.
You didn't even fly.
I'm still confused why the plane company made me go north to go south.
Well, you had a soccer tryout that day too.
I went past Atlanta to go back to Atlanta. I had to drive through Atlanta.
How was that Atlanta traffic?
That's what slowed me down. I would have made it if it wasn't for Atlanta. I would have made it to Atlanta.
Oh my god. All right, we gotta end the show.
All right. Do we have another topic? I forgot.
So, I don't think
race
we
predictions.
do.
Race predictions.
Yes, race predictions for Atlanta. Also, and very, very early playoff predictions.
And who's going to make their plane ride?
Not you.
Not me. Especially not in that Atlanta traffic.
Right. So looking at the test results that we had today, Slavic and Josh were very fast.
I hate Toyotas.
They are on the same team. I know. I hate them too. But you know what?
I say this as a former Toyota team owner. Stays Run was going to be Toyota.
You're an idiot sometimes.
Stays Run was Toyota originally. And
so
you
know what I hate worse than Toyotas?
Me?
Ford. Well, damn, that got dark.
Sad but true.
Oh, darkness, my old friend.
I've come to die at Daytona again.
But looking at the race, at the test results, Nissan and Slavic were very fast in today's test, and I know you kind of had your moments where you
I think
had
Slowbro
those
wins
fast
it.
laps, but you're just biased.
No, I think either Slavic or Josh has it in the bag for Atlanta. As of the drivers that we're testing.
We ran Atlanta last season, and Max absolutely blew that race out of the water. He led, I want to say, all but 2 laps.
Just because it was him and Nissan. Max died.
Yeah, well,
I say that, but he ran into the studio while I was recording.
We don't talk about that part.
I know, but I was recording and he joined the game and just started running at me.
Wow.
And I was like, "What are you doing? I thought you were dead." Go back to your grave.
No, he pulled a post. No, he pulled a Post Malone.
I don't know what that means, but
I'll send you that video tonight, and you'll know what I mean.
He's pulling a reversed Lil Nas X. It just goes down the pole.
Oh, that's so messed up. Oh my god, no! I gotta get that. Okay.
I think
race prediction.
Slavic or Josh, or Slowbro.
Slavic or Josh. I think like Daytona, it's going to be unpredictable because this is a brand new racetrack. These guys have never ran on this brand new surface. We ran the old surface last season, but this is a brand new racetrack. It's completely different, and test results can only show what test results are.
And you got to think, you also don't have any drivers pushing one another. You know, I didn't have any help. I was all on my own. True. And you, the Toyotas, pushing one another, and you're loading just kind of on them. So
yeah,
you're looking at a solo lap time versus team pushing within the Toyotas.
Right, and that goes back to what I said earlier. I think it's going to be a very unpredictable race. Who knows what could happen?
I think
we could have. Go ahead.
It could be either a lot of pack racing or a lot of spread out racing. I remember Nashville at times there's that backpack. Not a school backpack. I hate those things. Like a pack in the back. And, it's just kind of them 4. Of course, Patrick was behind it. And then there was Max up front. Then there was Nissan. And then there's me and Matthew. Me and Matthew were just kind of fighting out the whole time. And then Nissan and Josh, they're the same person. And then Max and Josh were just kind of fighting it out the whole time. And I'm just there, watching them die. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to cruise by. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. So we may see pack.
Usually that happens, though. If 2 drivers get stuck for that third place, did I just cut out?
Yeah, you cut out like crazy. I knew what you were saying, though. Okay. Two people will fight for a place, and then they'll lose, time.
Yeah,
That's what me and Matthew were trying to do.
Whenever 2 people get side by side, whenever two people get side by side, that usually will slow them down.
Yeah.
For that third place driver to catch up, and that just didn't happen. But the package from last year has changed to this year, so it could be a completely different outcome. Which we are returning to Nashville this season,
where I could be
for the second
strong or weaker.
effort.
Well, I am in better equipment now.
Who knows? Yeah, so who knows?
Or I could miss my planned flight.
Or that too.
That's probably what's gonna happen.
So very, very early playoff predictions. Who do you have in and who do you have out?
Well, as a totally non-biased source, I have myself in.
Obviously, because you won the 500.
I think Josh is definitely gonna make it. He definitely has a chance to win Atlanta, and I know he can perform in different races. I could see Matthew being in there. Matthew did well in season 30 Atlanta. I didn't really see him too much in the 500, mainly because he was behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Slavic, I definitely think has a chance. He's been strong in Atlanta testing. He may lock himself
very strong
in. He might
in
lock
Atlanta
himself
testing.
in
In
Sunday.
fact, as you said, there's no telling what this race could do. But continue.
I think Zion, if he's not good at braking tracks, I think he can definitely lock himself in it. Maybe Dega.
And Dega's in the playoffs too.
Is it in the playoffs?
Yeah,
He can probably lock himself in on points and then win a Dega race. That's my prediction. I think he'll make it in on points if he doesn't win a braking track. Zombie could make it if he shows up. Howie can make it if he shows up. Legends.
Howie, I think he's a goner.
Yeah, he didn't show up barely at all. I think Legends can make it. Probably on points. I don't know about a win. I think all the LNL drivers can make it, to be honest. As a totally non-biased source, as I said.
Right.
I think all the LNL drivers can make it, because obviously I'm locked in. Legends can run mid-pack and just kind of get those points. Zion, we haven't seen perform. He's the only iffy one.
Legends was in his own zip code at Daytona, and that's not the good zip code either.
I think he
was kind of admired back with Zion that race.
I was talking with Legends after the race, Denny to Bubba or Denny to Kurt or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking him, what his plan had been, because obviously it didn't work. He said he was staying back for me to crash on the last lap or for them to, send it. Joke's on him. I'm actually good this time.
Joke's on him. Only one car crashed.
Yeah, I don't even remember who it was.
It was Max.
Oh yeah, okay, and that's why he's gone. That's why he died. That's how he died.
If I remember correctly, four other drivers got to a scruffle because he started forcing people. Well, he started forcing people below the line just so that they could get penalized and he could pass them for easy spots. Yeah. And it absolutely failed on his part.
He did that in season 30. He kept shoving me under and wouldn't let you back up.
Yeah, he did that a lot. Because the rule is so the rule is on a super speedway they don't have to let you back up unless they're just going to be nice. Now, if they don't let you back up, then you got to slow down to the back of the pack. But his thinking process was, I'm going to force them down and then not let them back up, so they have to slow down, and that's just going to be my easy spot to get back to the lead. That's not how that's going to work. If you do that too many times, I'm going to penalize you for forcing.
Yeah, and I remember in season 30, I just straight up didn't turn. I just shoved him into a wall one time because I was tired of him shoving me under.
I remember that. But
and then you got mad at me.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, man. But and I missed
how far are we into this video now?
It's about 45. It's 50 minutes long, pretty much.
Okay. Well, I think that's all that we have for today's show.
Can I say the punchline?
Sure.
Be fast, don't be last, and don't break your back. That's coming from the guy who almost died at Daytona. All right, I'll see you guys next time.